Hello, friends. We are live again. It is day 62, episode 62. As you already know, if you've been participating with these lives, we're going live for 100 days straight. And today is day 62. Can you believe it? We're getting ever closer to 100. But we want to get started tonight without any delay, get that value going immediately. And we're going to continue to talk about 1 Million Followers by Kane, how I built massive social following in 30 days. Now he, again, got 1 million followers in 30 days. We're going to talk a little bit about how he did that and how you might want to approach that a little bit differently depending on the resources you have, the time that you have, that type of thing. But if you're interested at all in growing your social media audience, the number of people that you have in your circle via social media, then hang on. And one other thing we're going to do tonight, a little bit unique, is we're going to tell you how you can get the book for free, either the printed book or a PDF and a Kindle version. Now, when I say for free, you do have to pay for shipping and handling. If you get the book, it's $9.95. I get nothing, no part of that. If you want to get the PDF, it's $4.95. So I guess it's not technically completely free, but it's still a great resource. And we're going to share with you at some point tonight during this live stream the link that you need to go to and the code that you need to use, and then you'll be able to get those resources a lot cheaper than buying the Audible book, which I would go ahead and get anyway, or buying the printed book from somewhere like Amazon or Barnes & Noble or wherever you buy your books. So we quoted from page 23 some last night, and it just so happens, honestly, that page 24 has some more what I call gold, and I'm going to just share some of that with you. And he talks about 3 ways to generate a following on Facebook and generate it fast. The first way, the way that most people try to grow, honestly, on social media, and in particular Facebook, is through organic ways. That just means sharing content, relying on those that you're connected with already, hoping they'll see it, and then hoping when they see it that they'll share it with others. Because we also learned last night that the way that you grow, especially organically, is to produce content that's highly shareable, something that people will want to share. So the first way is organic. The second way is, the second and third way are actually through using the Facebook ad platform. And so one of those ways is to make a piece of content go viral to gain massive awareness by a correlative effect of people following you based on this exposure. So in other words, one of the ways that you can select your ad is where they will see it. And then, of course, if it's good content, valuable content, shareable content, the hope is that they will share it with others. So this is similar to organic with regards to what you would post, but it's going to go out through the ad platform to, a geographic targeted area, demographics that you may share. So the second one is use a page likes ad unit. So in other words, use an ad unit on Facebook where you are, in essence, asking for likes / follows. Now, remember, I'm going to be sharing here at some point in this video a link and give you a code that you can enter in where you can get connected with a link to get this book, the printed version, for $9.95, which is a lot cheaper than you can get it on Amazon or anywhere else, or get the PDF version, the Kindle version, and some extra videos, extra resources for $4.95. And again, I don't get anything from either one of those. Those are just resources that I have taken advantage of and want to share them with you. So go check that out as soon as I let you know how to get it. And I will say that I've discovered these resources by scouring the internet, so you won't have to do that. You just have to watch a little bit more of this video, and we'll share the link and the code. So I hope you'll stay around. I hope that the value that you're getting here is why you're sticking around, and that the link code combination is just icing on the cake. That's certainly our hope. But let's talk a little bit more here, quote a little bit more. Brendan does talk about the fact that you can grow just organically. Yes, it's possible, although slower. And he talks about, determining what you want to do, what your goal is, and how fast you want to get there. Now, if we go on to page 26, if you had the actual book and you're wanting to turn there, you could at some point. There's this section that says there's always a CPA for gaining followers. In other words, there's always a cost per acquisition. That's a very sterile way of talking about it, but that's standard marketing terminology. Nothing wrong with it. We do want to engage with our followers and be relevant with our followers once we have them, but there is still a cost of acquisition for those followers, and whether you're using Facebook ads and paying for it in that form, or you're spending time producing content that you show organically. And then there's the the fact that if you're sharing it organically, you are gaining those followers, those likes much, much shorter. I should say it takes much longer to get them as opposed to Facebook ads. And he talks more in the book about the fact that, what business or what person really expects to get connected with potential customers without advertising in one way or another. It just so happens that in the world we're in today, it's, digital marketing is much more common. It's much more effective than TV, radio, that type of thing. Yes, we can still do face-to-face marketing, direct mail, word of mouth, all those kinds of things work. It really just depends on how you want to scale and what your goal is. He also talks about getting his 1 million followers on Facebook with minimal support, mostly himself. He didn't have a big staff. What he had was a strategy and had set aside a budget to do it. I believe it cost him about $10,000 to get 1 million followers, 1 million likes. So again, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video of this live stream, I said that, you may not want to get 1 million. You may not have the budget to get to 1 million in 30 days, but you could get to 100,000. You could get to 25,000. You could get to 10,000. And honestly, depending again on your goals, depending on who you're trying to impact, what you're trying to do, the 10,000, the 100,000, the 5,000, even the 3,000 can make a big difference. And I can share in another video some of my own experiences with regards to that. So let's talk a little bit more here. He asked the question, which I think is a great question, and it's related to what I just said. He says, what is the outcome you're looking for, and what amount of money or time are you willing to put in to get those results? I think if we have a business, if we're a real estate agent, if we're a lawyer, if we're a coach, if we're consultant of any type, regardless of what type of business we're in, or maybe we're managing a business that we are an employee for. There's always an investment that has to be made in your time and your talent and your money and your resources, something or some combination of those. And then, the expectation is the results that will follow. He also talks about a little bit further about the cost of acquisition with it, depending on whether you're trying to primarily gain an audience in the United States, in the UK, or maybe in the quote unquote developing world, India, that type of thing. And I actually highlighted or marked, it said Facebook just announced that their largest user base is India with 241 million users. Now this book was originally written in 2018. The other good thing about getting the PDF version of this book, you may want to only get the PDF version of this book. This is the only way that I know that you can get it, by the way. You could get the Kindle version as well. I honestly haven't looked it up. We'll look it up here in a minute. We'll look up the Kindle version and see if it says updated, but the PDF that I just actually got is updated, and so it will be a little bit more up to date with the statistics and that type of thing. So with a lot of these statistics regarding Facebook, if anything, the numbers are only growing. Okay, I want to talk about a couple of more things that I thought were really helpful here. He quotes a guy named Eric Brownstein. Eric Brownstein is the president and chief strategy officer of Shareability, and he says regardless of how good your content is, it's essential to amplify it with paid media. So in other words, regardless of how amazing your content is, you're only going to get so far. In other words, it's only going to reach a certain audience organically, and the only way you're going to get it in front of the masses, if that's your approach, or the only likely way that you're going to, is through paid media. And here in context, we're talking about Facebook ads. And also, I highlighted here, when you have great content, the Facebook algorithms pick up the fact that people are resonating with your piece of creative, which allows you to spend less. So in other words, he's talking about, and this is a really interesting aspect of the Facebook ad ecosystem, is that if your ad is, again, resonating, if people are interacting, people are following, sharing, liking, commenting, those types of things, that lets Facebook know, lets the algorithm know that it's worthy content, that it's something that people are, taking notice of, then it will show it to more people and charge you less for it. So it is important, if you're going to entertain doing Facebook ads, that you monitor the performance. And honestly, after about the first hour or so, certainly after the first 8, that whatever is happening is what you're likely going to get. So in other words, you could look at your cost per acquisition, and if it's 30, 40 cents, and if that's more than you want to pay per acquisition, then you could go ahead and stop that ad and do something different, try something different, and then test that. One of the things that Brendan Kane is certainly an expert in is testing a number of variations of creative, and he talks about that in the book. So you're going to want to get the book and get his thoughts and ideas about how to do A/B type testing, if you will. And so he says Facebook will allow you to keep running the ad, but your cost will be extremely high because the content isn't valuable to the platform. So think of Facebook as a funnel. So you got a funnel kind of like this, like a V or whatever, and then data pumping through that. They're only going to be able to show people on Facebook so much because, for one, if they inundate them with ad after ad after ad, and I know it already seems like maybe you get a lot, but if they showed even more, then the turnoff would be just that much greater. So if they obviously have a inventory of ads to show us that are on Facebook, then they're going to show the ads that are outperforming the ones that are not performing so well. So they're going to, if you want to keep running that ad, then they're going to have to show it to some people, but they're going to charge you more for the privilege of doing that. So again, I think, although I've not run any Facebook ads yet, it's definitely in my future. I can guarantee you I will be running Facebook ads at some point to either build my audience or to bring awareness to a product, a service, any number of things. I think Facebook is probably the largest ad platform out there, has the most reach with the most number of people, and it does have an amazing database, if you will. Now, there are those that obvious, and I could certainly be in that camp, that don't like the fact maybe that Facebook has so much data. And for those that want to get off of the platform, I completely understand that. The reality is there are many millions of people that are, generally speaking, okay with Facebook having that information, and many of them are actually okay with being marketed to. For those that aren't, they have the option of getting off the platform, and I completely respect and honor and can understand that approach. But from a purely business perspective, again, if you're offering a product that is legitimate, that serves a purpose, that brings value, that solves a problem, that's available at a reasonable cost, so forth and so on, then, I don't have any problems at all using Facebook as the way to make people aware of that. So it's got to happen some way. And again, nowadays, so many things are bought online, and to be relevant as a business, FYI, for anyone that's got a business of any type, being on social media is not necessarily going to generate new business for you, especially if you're not going to embrace doing ads. But even if you don't do Facebook ads or Instagram ads or whatever, most businesses do need to have a presence, and a reasonably good presence, on Facebook to be considered relevant. So in other words, if someone's going to go online and compare your business to someone else that's doing something very similar, then your Facebook, Instagram feed, page, group, whatever, is going to be like a online resume, if you will, or an online brochure for people to determine, who do I think I want to work with. So I do want to go ahead and share the link where you can get these almost free resources, I'll say. 1 million followers, the book, the printed book, for $9.95 shipping and handling. And again, I get none of that. You can go to strammel.com/OMFC. So strammel.com/OMFC. And then the code, when you get there, that you'll want to type in is 1M. So I'll actually show you what the landing page is going to look like, which I've already mentioned, right? Brendan Kane, 1 million followers. If you put in your first name, email address, and that code of 1M, then you'll be set. And when you click on Get the Book link, you'll be taken directly to Brendan Kane's link for the printed book, and then you'll get an immediate follow-up with an email that tells you how to get the PDF / Kindle version for $4.95. Now, if you just want one versus the other, that's why I'm sending you an immediate email once you sign up. So make sure here in the email section that you actually provide an email that's legitimate if you want the option to get the PDF. If you don't care about the possibility of getting the PDF, or if you don't care about me being able to send you other amazing offers like this, then you could put in an email address that's not legitimate. I'm not doing a double opt-in. In other words, I'm not authenticating these email addresses with a follow-up, but that email that I am going to be sending immediately after you basically click on the get the book link, when you click on that, if you don't provide a legitimate email that will come to you, then that you won't get that email. So it's that simple. So again, one more time, it's strammel.com. I hope I said .com. strammel.com/OMFC. That stands for 1 million follower code. And then the code that goes in right here is 1M. So for 1 million. So strammel.com/OMFC. And then the code is 1M. So we're going to come back now to me. I'll share that one more time at the end because I'm not quite through. I want to show you one other thing, and this will be, in essence, an indication that the PDF exists. I have pulled up page 67 from the book because I really liked this, and I thought I would read it, about highly produced content is not necessarily shareable. I'm just going to literally read from the PDF here because I thought this was good. It says, people make this mistake of spending a lot of money on videos with high production value, thinking that because it's well done, it will resonate and get shared. Brownstein, you'll remember we quoted him earlier from a company called Shareability. Brownstein has observed that some people equate great content with shareable content, but in reality, there's not necessarily a correlation. Here's the real key to this. Now, obviously, if you spend a lot of money, you may get an ROI, a greater ROI, but the key is the content needs to go a step further than good or great and connect with the audience emotionally for them to take the big step of sharing it. Now, he goes into a longer discussion there about an example with Hyatt and a musician, I believe it is. So, check that out if you get the printed book, if you get the PDF. Let me look and see. Actually, I wonder, page 67, I have the printed book, obviously. I'm going to look and see if it's the same. It's not actually quite the same, so I don't know. The PDF is an updated version, so I'm not 100% certain what page it would be in the printed book, but you'll be able to find it. So we wanted to get started right away when we did, so hopefully you've found value in that. We're not quite done yet, but do want to mention a couple of other things that you'll want to hear before you step away. First of all, I want to say come back tomorrow for night 63. Every night we're bringing something that we believe would be of value to you. Do want to tell you what the link is to our playlist. So if you go to strammel.info/100 days, then you can go watch all of the episodes starting back day 1, which was the day that our current president was inaugurated. As it turns out, I decided on that day to go live for 100 days. Initially, it was just this thought, hey, the first 100 days of a new president's always a big deal. So we are kind of going along in parallel with that, with the belief that we can provide you value each day for 100 days, and then we'll see where we go from there. The other thing I'd like to mention is if you go into the description on Facebook or on YouTube, Periscope, Twitch really just shows the title, I believe. But if you go to the description on those platforms, you'll see 2 links. One for StreamYard. We go live, probably 98% of the time using StreamYard. We're using StreamYard tonight. It's a great tool. We'll take a drink real quick. You can get StreamYard absolutely free forever. strammel.info/StreamYard. If you use that link and you sign up for their paid plan at some point, if you want to use some of the features that are set aside for paid plans, you'll save $10. One of the things that we recommend every night is to begin to build and grow, use an email list. And I use the ConvertKit platform. There's a link in the description for that. You can get a free plan for that as well. Again, forever free. Save some money on that as well if you ever upgrade to a paid plan. And then the other key thing that we mention every night is if you haven't already, go create your own YouTube channel, regardless of what you do, regardless of who you are, working, retired, doesn't matter. And you can go listen to some of the other episodes and get some hints, if you will, of why we believe that. But create a YouTube channel, start using it, that type of thing. One of the other things that we're working on that I'm hoping that people will be interested in is at some point here in the near future, we're going to set up a subscription model of some sort where we will there's a couple of different options. There's Patreon. ConvertKit actually allows you to create a subscription of sorts. So I highly recommend that, especially if you're just starting out with this type of thing. If you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you have a newsletter, regardless of what kind of business you're in, if you have knowledge content that you want to share on a regular basis, then you could use ConvertKit to basically execute that transaction, if you will, get someone on a recurring subscription type basis. So ConvertKit is an option. There's another thing called, and I'll have to talk about this one of the nights before 100, is Buy Me a Coffee. It's a website, and it's like a way that people can tip you. And so I'm actually probably going to set that up and give you guys an opportunity to support this live stream and the YouTube channel and all the other things we do if you want that way. But Buy Me a Coffee's one, Patreon's another, and there's several others. But we will be creating a subscription type thing with exclusive content. It will definitely include a monthly call kind of thing, a Zoom, because Zoom supports having, a fairly large number of people, where we're going to be providing, exclusive content that's only going to be available in that way. And so, we definitely take to heart the Gary V approach, which is to say jab, 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 right hook, which is it's a metaphor for give, 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 and ask. We are approaching the point where we're, hopeful that we've been giving enough, that we've shown that there's some value when we make the ask. So we're not there yet, and we'll always be jabbing regardless. So there'll be many, many more jabs for every right hook that's put out there. And we like that model. Think it makes a lot of sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense if you're only thinking about, you know, generating revenue, it's certainly much easier when you can do that as a quote unquote side hustle. So I have a full-time job. Like many, this is something I do as much as I can. Hopefully it's still valuable regardless of when it's done. I encourage you to do the same. If you have a dream, a vision, a thing that you want to do and you can't do it full time right now, get started in the smallest way possible. Reach out to me if you need a sounding board. More than happy to do that. Send me a direct message or comment on YouTube, Facebook, whatever. And then the last thing I'll say before we end for the night is please go connect with us on YouTube. That is our platform of choice. That's really where I'm trying to grow the most, and I'll explain briefly why, because I've mentioned that I think you should create your own YouTube channel, so it makes sense that I should tell you a little bit about that. One of the biggest benefits of YouTube, especially with regards to video content, is it's an evergreen platform. And I've explained this in other episodes, but evergreen just meaning that, your content's going to be found over and over again because people go to YouTube to search for answers to problems or to search YouTube for ideas, ways to approach things. Facebook, not so much. Twitter, not so much. Twitch, not so much. Those are great platforms, but their strong suit is not their search capability. So if someone's wanting to search something, they're either going to go to Google or they're going to go to YouTube. Google's the #1 search engine in the world. YouTube's the second largest search engine in the world. Many content creators, with videos that are 7 years old that are still being watched thousands of times a day, maybe tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of times a day. So if you want the biggest bang for your buck, if you want to make your impact greater, gain more influence, and through all of that, income, then my humble opinion is that YouTube is the premier platform for that, not to the exclusion of the others. And that's why we go live most nights on all of the platforms that we have the ability to go live on. But YouTube is where we want to be growing. And so we do some of these live streams exclusively on YouTube. So the best way for you to consume this video, from my opinion, is YouTube, because we can put all the links with all the resources. You can go back and watch it again. You can easily pause it. You can easily share it. It's just the best place for video. And so, we're going to continue to be there. We're going to continue to grow. We produced a video a while back that was basically me being a DJ in a way. It was the title of that episode was called Road to 4,000. So if we had 4,000 people watch that video, we would reach our goal of 4,000 watch hours. And then we need 1,000 subscribers as well. We're at 371 when I last looked. So if you're watching this either live or if you're watching the replay and you haven't hit the subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button if you're getting anything out of this. More importantly, also hit the notification button, because if you don't hit the notification button, you won't know when we go live again. You won't know when we announce the giveaway that we're going to be doing. We've got a giveaway coming up. I've mentioned that a lot lately. It's coming, trust me, and it's going to be worth it. But that's only going to be on YouTube, so I hope you'll come over to YouTube. Many of you I know already have. So those of you that are already here with us on YouTube, please don't get too upset that we continue to ask, because we know that a lot of people that are watching this video or watching on platforms other than YouTube. Facebook is a big one for us. So I know a lot of our audience is there on Facebook, and by all means, we appreciate the fact that you're consuming the content regardless of where you're consuming it. But our ask, again, our humble plea is that you come on over to YouTube and connect with us there. I'm, anxious, eager, if you will, to get to the point where I can be in the YouTube Partner Program. It allows us to do more. We'll be able to have different options to support this channel through monetization. So your support in us getting there is certainly appreciated. It's going to be an amazing day, honestly, when we can say that we've reached the point where we can be, allowed into the YouTube Partner Program. It's only the beginning, but it's, our next big milestone. Everyone starts at zero. So, I told you to start that YouTube channel. You're going to start out with zero, but we can talk about how you can get to 100 subscribers pretty quickly. It's that next 900 that can be a little bit harder to get to. Don't let that discourage you. Just hit that record button. Start with what you have. If you have video equipment, that's amazing. You could use your phone if that's all you have. You can use the webcam that's built into your laptop. You can use the microphone that's built into your laptop or your computer. Maybe you got a desktop computer that came with a microphone and a webcam. Don't let those things stop you. Don't let them be limiting. Don't let them keep you from starting. We started that way. I started with the built-in webcam, built-in microphone. It's obvious when you go look at my first videos. Yes, your first videos will be your worst videos, but everyone starts somewhere. You have to start somewhere. Some of us are natural. I'm not, but some of us are naturally really, really good in front of a camera. For others of us, it takes a while, but just get in there. I will say, if you're worried or concerned about putting yourself out there in front of actual real people, then just create a private Facebook group that doesn't have any members other than you. Go live to that group. Create a YouTube channel, and don't promote it, and then you can make those videos. You can make those videos private. But at some point, you're going to have to go beyond that and just say, okay, I'm going to do it. I know that when I first started, I would sit there for 20 minutes probably before I would actually hit the button to go live. Most days, that's not the case anymore. Tonight, I probably took about 6 or 7 minutes because I was trying to prepare my mind a little bit. If you've got the opportunity to prepare more before you actually go live, to have an agenda, an order of what you're going to say, that type of thing, it may help some, but not everyone's going to have that luxury. I don't have that luxury. I just have to hit that record button or that live button when I have the time. Tonight, I got to start a little bit earlier than I normally would. So last thing I'm going to say, go up here and I'll have a link to the 100 days playlist. My last humble request would be, hey, just start that. It'll start playing automatically. Just let it play until it plays through all, now with tonight's in there, all 62 episodes, and then play them again. Would love that. That's going to help us get to those 4,000 hours, and we'll be forever grateful. And my commitment is to continue to, put out content, and hopefully it's valuable, useful. And the only way that it can become more valuable, I think, is for you to share with me what you'd like to hear about. We do plan on talking some more about Zoom. One of my coaching friends said they'd like to know more about Zoom, and we've talked about that some. We'll cover that some more, and that was a perfect example of where I probably didn't think that was anything anyone wanted to hear about, because I think certainly in my mind there was this assumption that it's just such a heavily used thing that everyone knows how to use it. But there are tips and tricks with everything. So we'll spend some more time talking about Zoom. In the last 10 days or so, we've talked about that a couple of times. So this is where you'll find some value in starting that playlist and just listening to it in the background while you do some other things, or start it, and listen to as much as you can. Just pause it, come back to it, and start it again when you can listen some more. Anyway, the one other thing that I'll mention is on day 100, the goal at least is to go live for 100 minutes and do some other cool things during that 100th episode. Not sure what we're going to do after the 100 days. Let us know. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see happen after the 100 days has been reached. So anyway, that's what we're going to end it with tonight. Watch this next video, and we'll talk to you later. All right, bye.